Hello and welcome to 5 Questions with your Classical Educator. Today, we have new instructor in Saint Raphael School, Nickolas Karagiannis, who is going to be offering a few classes next academic year. Actually, not a few, quite a few rather. But he is a man of many talents. So, Nickolas, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, thank you for having me, Presbytera. As I said, my name is Nickolas Karagiannis. I'm coming to you from New York City. A little bit about my academic background. I'm currently a Ph.D. candidate, and I'm working on a dissertation right now on saints' lives, which we call hagiography, of the Byzantine Empire in the 6th and the 7th centuries. My background is in classics and ancient history, and my focus has been on the Byzantine Empire, the early Byzantine Empire, and the role of the Orthodox Church and its saints in the history of the Byzantine Empire. So that's my academic background, my focus, my interests. I'm coming to Saint Raphael's from a background of teaching undergraduates. I've been very blessed to have taught undergraduates in four-year colleges, in community colleges, and some private colleges. I've been quite around in the school in the colleges of New York City, and I've been blessed to teach students of all backgrounds, religious, ethnic, all backgrounds, all interests, and I'm very excited to bring my love of classics, my love of history, my love of the Orthodox faith, and my experiences in teaching undergraduates. I'm excited to bring all of that to our Saint Raphael students so that I can participate in their formation.
I love that, Mr. Karagiannis said that because he actually joined us for our open mic night. And while we were in the green room waiting to start, something that he mentioned was how impressed he was with the caliber of writing, of creativity that our students have. And of course, I would have to agree because, as you all know, I always say we have the best students. So Academy has the best students. So it was really nice. Of course, I think it meant a lot to our students, Mr. Karagiannis, that you were there and you were commenting. But yes, we are excited about having you and you bringing in the content that we may not have had in the past, especially specifically when it comes to hagiography of our saints. So before we get further about the classes, let's do our questions, shall we?
Let's
All right, so 5 questions with your classical educator. Question number 1, who is your favorite author and why?
That is a tough one because you're all gonna notice sometimes I take a few minutes of silence to kind of think and put my thoughts together.
I love it.
And these are not easy questions. I would say I'll give a favorite author, favorite scholar that influences me as a grad student, as a student of the late antique, early Byzantine period, and as a teacher. I would say that would be the scholar Peter Brown. He is one of my big influences in that his writings were one of the important writings that introduced me to studying hagiography, to studying saints' lives from an academic perspective in a way that you use the hagiography to learn not just the history of the faith, but to learn about the society and the
Mm,
people who practice that faith. By studying the
beautiful.
hagiography, we're able to get a little glimpse into the culture, the society, the people who lived in the periods when the saints lived, when the hagiographies were written. So I would say he's one of my biggest influences in shaping my interests and shaping my approach to hagiography and my approach to the field. And he has always done so in a very reverent way when he both looks at the hagiography as both a source that provides us that historical insight, historical information, but still respecting what the sources are, that they are lives of saints that we as Orthodox Christians consider holy.
Beautiful. One of the things I was all so impressed when you and I spoke originally before you became an instructor was that focus on the sociological aspect of the faith, right? Of an iography. And I loved that because, you know, our faith is a living faith. It's not one of history. It's not one just to read about, but it's actually one to be. And so when you mentioned the sociological aspect of it, I was thrilled and I was intrigued and I was interested and I might have to, you know, come to some of your courses.
Of course.
All right, very good.
Everybody is welcome, and that includes everybody from all of our halls of study, not just Saint Raphael's.
Yes, correct. So I'm just going to interject here really quick, but you know, a couple courses that Nickolas is offering that applies to exactly what he talked about is 2 semester classes, one in the fall, one in the spring, on Eastern Orthodox saints and Western Orthodox saints. And so, you know, of course, Western Orthodox saints would be pre-schism. So it would be saints that all of us in Academy would recognize as saints. And then, of course, the Eastern Orthodox saints, specifically to those faiths of the Eastern Orthodox Church. So, yeah, there's a lot coming. Question number 2. What is your favorite quote? And explain.
I'll give my favorite quote from the Gospels. And this is one that has always resonated with me, you know. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? And I could go a lot into it, but it's a quote that always reminds me that, give me a moment to put words together, that, you know, it keeps me focused on the things that do matter. You know, and what matters is focusing upon Christ, focusing upon his kingdom that's not of this world. Focus upon your soul with Christ, joining with Christ, becoming Christ-like, and how all the things of this world that we think matter, at the end of the day, they fall to the wayside. They don't matter. Which also, if I can, I'll interject now another quote that is very much related. Give me a moment and I will pull it up.
Sure.
And this is a quote actually that comes from our Holy Week services. This one came from our Holy Monday service. And I will say it's a quote that if it was a brick, it smacked me very hard in the face. It was a quote I really needed to hear. And I feel that many other people need to hear it as well. And it's a beautiful quote. And it goes from our Holy Monday service. Why are you heedless, my miserable soul? Why do you inopportunely imagine vain cares? Why do you occupy yourself with that which passes away? The last hour is at hand, and we shall shortly be parted from earthly things. And that really resonated with me. Again, it smacked me in the face. I needed to hear it because, you know, we live in such times that there's so many things that we worry about, oftentimes rightly worry about. We worry about the state of the world, state of politics, state of our finances. And they are things that we should worry about. It's understandable, especially when it affects our well-being in our day-to-day lives. But I needed to be reminded that regardless what's happening in this world right now, that Christ is King yesterday, today, and forever. And what may be happening in the world right now that overtakes our mind, that worries us. These things are things that will pass away. They're not eternal. So those are two very interrelated quotes that have always that the one has always resonated with me, and the other reminded me of the importance of that.
Amen. Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Hobbies. Do you have any other than studying? I know how it is for graduate students, Ph.D. students.
Well, I'm very much a homebody kind of person. I'm very much a stay-at-home kind of person, despite me living in New York City. But when the weather's nice, not scorching 91 degrees abnormally as it is today, you know, I do like to take walks around the city. I have a very beautiful park by me, Fort Washington Park, that rolls right along the Hudson River, and it's a very beautiful walkway to walk by. You're right by the water. You're actually able to walk underneath the George Washington Bridge, which is it's a really cool spot. Again, beautiful scenery. And if you continue walking up to it, you wind up walking to a place called the Cloisters, which is a part of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And it's one of my favorite places in the city. It's actually it was an 11th century French monastery that, forget which one. It was either Rockefeller or Pierpont Morgan just bought the whole monastery, had it moved over piece by piece, and set in this park there. And it's a very lovely museum of medieval art. You know, if I'm walking through the park, I like to just maybe walk in there and walk around this old museum, taking in these lovely exhibits. So, you know, like walking through the parks, love visiting the museums such as the Cloisters. You know, I also mentioned it in my bio, you know, New York City is home to many beautiful churches. If I'm walking into an area and I see a lovely looking church, regardless of the denomination, I love to go inside and, you know, behold the art, behold, you know, the art, the architecture, behold the sanctity of the place.
Beautiful.
Otherwise I stay home a lot and I'm reading, I'm studying. Anything. Again, I'm very much a homebody.
Very good. Very good. What's one food or beverage you really enjoy?
That might be a tougher question than the previous ones.
I know, right? I always say I'm going to ask you a really tough question, and it's so true. It's like, what?
That is a tough one, but I very much do appreciate a very good gyro. You cannot beat a good, authentic Greek gyro, a pork gyro.
Yes.
You know, I will enjoy taking a bus over to Astoria to go to this
Yes.
one place. There's this one place in Astoria called BZ Grill that has gyros.
Yes.
Just you know BZ Grill.
Oh yeah, I do.
You know
With the
BZ
yellow
Grill.
awning.
Yes, it's small. But
Oh,
you get a gyro there just like the gyros you would get in
yes.
Thessaloniki. The real thing. So I will appreciate a good Greek gyro with a side of Greek fries.
Love
I can't
it.
go wrong
Yeah.
with that.
And that's the best place too. The best in Astoria.
There's no other gyro place there that I've been to that comes close. The only place you're gonna get a better gyro is if you go to Thessaloniki.
Yeah, if you hop a plane.
Yep.
And in 8 hours you get a euro.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Last question. When and how did you decide to, because you mentioned that you taught at different levels, but how and when did you decide that, you know, sharing and teaching what you have learned was an important aspect of your vocation?
Very good question. And when did I decide? I don't think I have like an aha sort of a moment when it just happened. It's as long as I know, it's just something that has been with me. Talking about sharing things that I'm interested in, things that I love. I think that's always been something that's been a part of my life ever since I was young, ever since I was a child. It's one form or another, sharing my interests, my passions with other people. It's been a part of me, and that's part of the joy of having an interest is sharing it with others. And I think, you know, that is, if teaching is one person, if not teaching, if having an interest in something is a gift, it's a talent, not the talent as used in the gospel, we're charged not to just bury our talents.
Yes.
But to share the talents so that they may grow. Yeah. And, you know, this is my duty. You know, I have been blessed with a very rich talent. Again, I'm using talent in the biblical sense as talentis. You know, God has given me a very rich talent with my love and my knowledge and my education of my subjects. And as he has blessed me with this talent, he's also charged me to invest this talent, again, using the actual language that is in the gospel, to invest, to share, to spend this talent so that it may grow, as to grow his kingdom. So this is not just my job, but this is my service to the church, service to Christ's church, to his people, to his children, that I may use my talent to grow and nurture his church and to ultimately help guide his church, our students, to that which really matters, to Christ, to that which is eternal, which is him.
Beautiful. Thank you. That was beautiful. I love how you're using the biblical language, the terms that are found in the New Testament, right? And the specific words and the etymologies of them and deciphering them and parsing them. So one of the mini classes you'll be teaching is New Testament Greek. So can you tell us a little bit about the offerings you have in the New Testament Greek language area?
Good. So I'm very blessed to be offering this the first time. Saint Raphael's is offering a beginner's New Testament Greek course for high school students who have been wanting to learn New Testament Greek, but have not had the opportunity to take our lower level classes. So if you have absolutely no experience with biblical Greek whatsoever, and you're an upper school student, my class is perfect for you. We will be starting right at the beginning with our Alpha Vita Gammas and covering as much grammar as we can in the year. By the end of the year, you'll be able to have a good grasp of Greek grammar and be able to read the New Testament in its original language. I'm offering New Testament readings for those students who have been taking our lower level Greek classes, where they will be able to continue to practice, to work on, and to refine their grammatical and reading skills. And I'm also blessed too, for the first time, that I'll be offering a beginner's New Testament Greek course for adults. So for the parents of our students, if you've always wanted to learn New Testament Greek and don't want to join a graduate program to do so, or join into or go to any sort of graduate program or college program, you have the opportunity to take it with me, with us at Saint Raphael's as well. So those are my 3 biblical Greek courses that I'm offering.
Beautiful. And like Mr. Karagiannis said, our adult and our upper school class are new this year. We did listen, and because of the need, we have offered, and thankfully, Mr. Karagiannis is a man of many talents and a deep devotion. So we're happy that he is offering those classes for us. Earlier, I mentioned that you will be offering in your wheelhouse again, 2 classes on Orthodox saints. So did you want to speak a little bit about those?
Sure. So in classical education, especially at Saint Raphael's and Scholes, one of our cores is reading the great books. But sadly, a genre of literature, a very great book that's oftentimes forgotten when we talk about our canon of great books, is hagiography. They are the lives of the saints. These are the actual texts, the actual stories, our sources of information about our saints that was written by authors of our church, told and disseminated through our church. Hagiography is a very rich, dense genre of literature that's often neglected, but it's where the church has historically learned about its saints, learned about the deeds, the acts of our saints, learned what it meant, provided us the examples of what it is to live out one's life as a Christian, how to live as a Christian, how to serve as a Christian, how to bear witness to Christ. If Christ in his Gospels has told us to follow us, the lives of the saints provided us the examples of people who followed Christ so that we can emulate them. And it's full of rich and wonderful stories that are often forgotten when we talk about the great books that serve in the formation of virtue. And I like to participate in changing that. So in my 2 courses, I'm going to introduce the students to hagiography. We're going to read the actual lives of the saints, the actual literature produced by the church, and the students will read and see firsthand the lives of the saints from the sources that we actually learn about the saints. We will be reading those sources, those texts, And we'll be learning about not just what the texts can tell us about the saints themselves, which is extremely important, but the students will also learn how we can use those texts. As I said at the beginning of our meeting, how we can use those texts, how we use the lives of the saints to understand the society, the culture, and the people of the place and the period when the saints lived, and of the people who wrote the hagiography. We will be learning about the saints in the texts and the people who write the hagiography, which is also extremely important. They serve as a very important aspect of the history of our church. And to get into the history of the church, you have to learn about the history of the church's people. And it's in the hagiography where we can see those rather exceptional people. So we will be reading the text, but the students will also be learning about the various ways people in our church have venerated the saints. So we'll be looking at some of the archaeology surrounding saints as well. You know, the archaeology of relics, of pilgrimage sites, things like that, which will broaden and enrich their history of the church.
Beautiful. I listened to you speak, and I think to myself, I wonder how many classes I could pop in on. You have such a great love, depth, breadth, faith when it comes to what you are offering our students, that it just moves me so much. And I feel that, you know, our community is very blessed to have you with us. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm a little speechless. I pray that I live up.
Oh, you already have. You already have. So the last class that Mr. Karagiannis is offering, I wanted to just kind of show you where to find these classes. Of course, the New Testament Greek readings here in middle school, you see them right here. You also will scroll up to the upper school, and you will see under Catechetical Humanities, you will see the two classes that are being offered in Eastern and Western Orthodox Saints. Again, Western Orthodox Saints pre-schism. So theoretically, this is when the church was one. A lot of the saints that we share together as East and West will be highlighted here. In addition, this is where the Greek classes are that he'll be offering. The upper school Greek that he mentioned for beginners right here, also for the adults, and then again, New Testament readings. The last class that he's going to be offering, I wanted to highlight here, falls under liberal arts. We do have liberal arts level 6 and 7. As you all know, those are dual classes that are both Schole and SRS. But we are offering a distinctly Orthodox viewpoint of ancient literature, culture, and society. These classes here are taught in the ecumenical mission, but this course here that Mr. Karagiannis will be offering, as you can see by the symbol, will be distinctly taught from the Orthodox perspective. So, Mr. Karagiannis, can you mention a little bit more about your ancient literature, culture, and society class for us?
Yes. So this is a course I'm very excited to offer at Schole and Saint Raphael's. It's a variant of a course that I've taught numerous times at the undergraduate level, and I've repurposed it to be more appropriate for our high school students. And I think it's a class that many students will enjoy and find value in. It's going to introduce students to the literature, some literature, history, and culture of the ancient Mediterranean in general. It'll include the ancient Near East, the Levant, Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, then to ancient Greece and Rome, when we finish off with looking at the early church fathers, the Ante-Nicene fathers. And by offering a course this way, when we're incorporating the literature from these different cultures, the students will be able to see, how these different cultures influenced one another, how they progressed, how they developed from one another, and how certain ideas, beliefs, practices were shared and common to all of these different cultures. And then finally, by looking at the early church fathers, we're going to see how the early Christians reacted to these ideas. That's the thing, as I like to say in my class, in that class, we're going to be learning about the world, the culture of the societies in which the Old Testament, the New Testament were written, and learning about the society in which the early church was living in. So not only will taking that course enrich your knowledge of ancient history and society, but you will also better understand the world in which the seeds of our faith were planted and grew in.
Wonderful, wonderful. So as you can see, Mr. Karagiannis is a deep well that is going to be offering our students at Saint Raphael School, Scholeacademy, much for this coming academic year, and I pray many years to come. But registration is rolling registration at the time, but we do have sections of classes closing. So if you're interested in anything that Mr. Karagiannis has to offer for this coming school year, or any other courses, we encourage you to register early, because we've already had several actual sections of courses closing because we have reached our limits. Remember, we leave our class sizes between 12 to 15 students. And once we hit that limit, we go ahead and close that section. So we hope that, of everything Mr. Karagiannis is offering, something has piqued your interest. Of course, if you have questions, you can always reach out to him directly through our instructor page, or you can also contact me and we will help in any way we can. Mr. Karagiannis, any last minute words?
Yeah, I'd like to say, although I'm teaching for Saint Raphael's and we are the Orthodox room in the Hall of Studies, I will like to extend and say that my courses are very much open, and the students from our other houses of study and our other traditions are very much welcomed to join my classes. Matter of fact, by joining my classes, they will be able to get a nice enriched understanding of our diverse, dynamic, beautiful, shared Christian heritage. So even though we are in the Orthodox House of Studies, the Orthodox school, my classes are not merely limited to just the Orthodox. Everybody in Schole is welcomed. Everybody can find value in my courses. If Schole is the Great Hall, as C.S. Lewis said, then all of our students are welcome to walk down that hall and come to my room. The door is always open.
Ah, so well stated. So well stated. Thank you so much. Again, this is 5 Questions with Your Classical Educator. Today we were speaking with Nickolas Karagiannis, who is new instructor for the academic year upcoming, and he is offering many rich courses. And as you have heard, is just a faithful man that has much to give to all who would like to learn. So thank you so much, Mr. Karagiannis. We really appreciate you taking time to speak with us. And I hope and pray you all are well. You have a wonderful summer, of course, upcoming, but make sure you register for the academic year 2022-2023. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for having me, Presbítera.
Oh, you're very welcome.